to educate, motivate, and build one another through shared knowledge and success. This is Young and Successful, and these are your hosts, Che Chukwi, Kenny Awashika, and PJ Luminan.
Welcome back to the Young and Successful podcast. We have some guests joining us again here today, right? And this time it is double trouble. Kenny, you're a you're a twin yourself, so I think, and I actually have some twin brothers, so it's a double kind of day, right? So with no further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into an introduction here for our guests because I'm actually really excited for this, especially after seeing some of the work you guys do on your website. Our guests here today were born in Nigeria, moved to the United States at the age of 12, right? And they are now the CEO and creative directors of Twin Perfections, right? Twin Perfections is an award winning event planning and design firm located in Los Angeles. Known for their flawless eye for detail, opulent over the top florals, and design aesthetics, Twin Perfection Events has quickly become the go to planner and designer for clients of the most discerning taste internationally. Under the attentive eye of the twins, Twins Perfection offers a hands on approach to weddings and events, orchestrating a one of a kind curated approach to life most unforgettable celebrations. With no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please let's give a warm welcome to Tenny Awashika and Candy Awashika Lewis. Ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Absolutely. We're
Right.
glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you for taking our invite. This really means a lot to us, to be able to just learn from you, right? Getting that knowledge out there. And if it touches anyone, I think our job here today is definitely done, right? So thank you for
Absolutely.
joining us.
Sure. Good to be
Now,
here.
absolutely. Now, I noticed you guys have the same last name as Kenny. Uh, Spill the tea. Are you guys related? Okay, Kenny, tell us as well.
We are cousins. Well, I wish you could. We'll say all the Washiku's are
I really
related. So yeah, we are second cousins. Yeah.
We're gonna jump right into it here because we're dying to hear from y'all. Um, at Young and Successful, we believe that success is a continuous life journey, right? Not
Hmm.
necessarily a specific destination. So, just give us a rundown, right? Tell us about your journey into the business that you're in right now, where you guys started, and how you essentially found yourself choosing this field that you're uh, dominating at the moment.
So I guess you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go
Okay,
first.
perfect. So we started doing events, I would say back in college. We've just always we've watched actually it started from watching my mom as we grew up in Nigeria,
Right.
with doing events because she used to be a caterer, and she usually does these large events and made sure that we were involved. Like she'd show us how she's making the cakes for the event, how she's doing the food for the event. So we've always been involved with anything that has to do with event planning from
Right.
our mother back in Nigeria, because she used to do this in Lagos. This is before you had all these like really big fancy restaurants that you have now in Nigeria. But my mom used to do that, and she used to cater for a big university. We grew up watching her do that. Little did we know that would actually pick up on it while we're in college. So when we moved to Northridge, which is the northern part of Los Angeles, we went to college there for 4 years. I would say at about sophomore, junior year, we started like throwing like little parties here and there, and people actually enjoyed it. Even if we thought the party was horrible, people actually like really liked it. They were looking forward to our next event.
Right.
I'm sure Kenny would know, like back in the Facebook
Yeah.
early days, you see like
Yeah.
photos of the events that
Yeah.
we do. So especially for our birthdays, like when the twins are having their birthday, like
Everybody.
the whole LA would like are just like preparing for our birthday. Like they
Even
cannot
people
wait.
from London kind of heard about our birthday party.
Exactly.
Wait,
Like
hang
we're
on,
like,
hang on. Just to get this straight. So you guys had, like, say, if you had your birthday party, you would essentially advertise it on social media and just have like a massive.
yep,
Ooh.
It's a crazy
yep,
event, man.
Okay.
yep,
Hey, I love
yep.
it, man.
That is
Carry
Yep.
on.
is a
And
sugar
it's
daddy
usually
for the
themed. It's usually themed so that it makes it more exciting. We've always loved that cutting edge, something different from the norm. So we
Right.
always do something themed so that it's unique in its own ways. And then
Right.
we started thinking, how can we, like, I mean, initially we didn't start thinking about how can we capitalize on this because we just did it for fun. Really, it was just
Right.
mainly for fun. It wasn't like we're making money off of it or anything. We just enjoyed doing it genuinely. And then back in I think during college time, still people will ask us to plan their events, which we'll do, like small events here, and then we'll plan it for them. No, we weren't making money, we weren't making anything then. They weren't even paying us. We just did it because they loved it. And then the birth of True Imperfections, really, I would say, was when we were planning for my wedding in 2000 and 2000, no, 2015. I got married in 2015. So as you both know, Nigerian weddings, we're so used to going to Nigerian weddings that are super rowdy. Like, it's always rowdy in Nigerian weddings, and I did not want
Always.
that to be my wedding. And
Yeah.
I'm not married to a Nigerian, and I did not want my husband's family to see Nigerian weddings in that light, because we have such a beautiful culture. And I was like, how
Absolutely.
can we do this in such a nice way, have all the mummies and the daddies coming, yet it's still elegant and just opulent and just upscale. So I planned the wedding from start to finish. Tenny decided to do Tenny did the designs, and when she did the design was absolutely amazing. There's a story behind that also, because initially, because again, it was a 500 guest wedding, we hadn't done anything at that level. It was usually like birthday parties or like graduations or something very small for like 100 to 200 people, not 500 guests. So for my wedding, one, I wanted something super organized and tight, and I wanted a winter wonderland whimsical theme. I found a designer in Beverly Hills that literally did nonsense for me. And my husband was like, Tenny can totally do this. Like, I'm telling you, I told him I wanted a winter wonderland wedding. What did he get me? Because I was getting married to a Jamaican, you know what he did? When I came to see the demo, all I saw was red, blue, and green. And I'm like, I was like, exactly. I was like, what is going on here? He was like, oh, you're getting married to a Jamaican. I'm like, you're not listening to me. I said, I want a winter wonderland wedding. If I'm asking for something and you're giving me something else because I'm married to a Jamaican, that doesn't make any sense. At that point, my husband was like, you know what? Let Tenny do our designs. And even Tenny was afraid. Tenny was like, oh my God, I don't know if you guys should put that in my hands. I'm not sure.
So scared.
Exactly.
Like, no, I can't do it. I was like, this is not, I've never done a wedding, especially a wedding that big. And it was like, no, Ten, I believe in you. You can do it. And I was like, oh, and I was like, okay, let's try it out. And while I was planning for the wedding, I was working at night. And even some of my coworkers were like, what are you doing during your break? I was like, I'm planning for my sister's wedding. And can you believe I got like 3 weddings before my sister's wedding? Yep.
Oh, wow.
And keep in mind, she was a nurse at that time, so she was working night shift. So during her lunch break, she'll be putting like little ideas together, and that was how she was able to execute the designs for my wedding. And we have photos still even on our Instagram page of my wedding, because it could still stand and be comparable to weddings today. That's how good the designs was. And then from then on, all of our guests and friends from college were like, who planned your wedding? And I was like, I did. Who did your designs? Tenny did. And we're like, can you do my wedding? Literally, that's how True Perfection was born. Like, it wasn't even like, we're like, okay, let us go and do this. No, people actually reached out to us to start doing their weddings once they experienced my own wedding with the designs that she did, and how tightly organized my wedding was. So from then on, people just started asking, and that's literally how it started blossoming and just shining. And it just took off from there, really.
I think that for sure is definitely just that demonstration of the teamwork, right? The fact that you have the planning, and Tenny has that design mind, right? And kind of recognizing that in each other, and then bringing it together and creating something so amazing. So when you guys I guess you guys came to this realization at some point, like, hey, we could definitely be making or we could have a business doing this, right? So at what point, and what was that conversation for you guys like, when you kind of, right, I guess you had that light bulb moment and you went to yourselves, hey, we can actually take this as a serious business and grow it from there? Because there's the idea of jumping out there like that is always scary. There's
Mhm.
always the idea of it might not work out and all of that good stuff. So how was that process for you guys, like discussing to make that decision to actually make this a business?
Okay, so for me, it was more when I was trying to juggle my night shift,
Right.
working at nighttime, and then during the same time meeting clients and also going shopping for the decorations and the designs, and I was barely sleeping. I basically did not even have a life, and it was so overwhelming. And then my mom had to have that conversation, like, Tenny, which one do you want to do? Do you want to do nursing or do you want to do run your business? And I was like, I don't know. And my mom is actually the best example and the best person to talk to because she's a nurse also.
Right.
So, and then she also had the background as a business owner. So she said, you know what I would advise you is you make your own decision, but nursing is always going to be there. But your business is always once in a lifetime to take up that challenge. And then the worst was if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You always can go back to nursing. So you always have to have that solid background, which was nursing for me. And then, you can tackle your business, put everything you got, and, grow it from there. So that was what I did. I went in on my business. I quitted my job and just focused on my business. And that was the best decision I've ever made in my life.
For
Got it.
me, I would say that when we started, making money from the business was, I would say was right, like immediately. Um, when people started, when we started getting those inquiries from our friends, then we're like, okay, we have an educational background, so it was easy for us to be like, okay, this is something that could be big. How can we start, figuring out a way to, charge our clients, even if we're not even charging them right, at least to charge them enough to be able to make something out of it, and then show the world what we could do. And then by showing the world what we can do, we can at that point really charge what we're really worth. So we knew that going in, and that was one thing that I always told my partner Tenny. I've always told her, Tenny, why don't we do as much as we can to show the world exactly what we could do? The right clients will come on board after they will see what we can do, and then they'll start coming. And that's the mistake a lot of people make. They feel like, you know what, let me start charging right off the bat. You can't do that, right? You can't start charging what other people are making, that are like super professional at this point. I can't charge what I'm charging right now. I couldn't charge it back in 2015 because people did not know what I could do. So I used those inquiries to be able to build our portfolio to be able to charge what we charge today. And I wouldn't say we were doing things for free. No. We didn't do anybody's wedding for free. And I would not advise anyone to go start doing stuff for free. Absolutely not. You do charge, but keep in mind that you cannot start charging big bucks because you will never be able to build that portfolio that you need to build. And
Absolutely.
go ahead. Like I would say, for example, the first year, we made even.
Yep.
We didn't even make money,
Mhm.
but we made even. The second year, it was almost the same thing. After the third year, oh yeah, started
Yep.
Business
Yeah.
took off.
a real good client.
Business, yes, then because there's a certain level of clientele that you start to attract once they see what you, especially on social media. And remember, during that time, that was when Instagram was now becoming really big. So all of our work people see it and they're like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. We want to book you guys for our wedding. Can you do this, that, and that? And we use other weddings to be able to show, to showcase the weddings that we really want. We use their weddings to be able to show what we could do so that we can get the clients that we truly want.
Absolutely.
That's really the direction to go. But to answer your question, yes, the point that we knew that, okay, let's start capitalizing, let's start charging or making money off of it was right in the beginning. But of course, because we didn't have that much experience, we're pretty much breaking even. But then the money started rolling like 2 to 3 years after.
Yep.
Execution. It's a beautiful. Now, Kenny, I want to turn this over to you in a little bit, but I just have one more question because Candy and Tenny definitely said something that I felt like I could relate to. With charging, charging your clients, right? So for me, for example, when I started my gym business a couple years ago, one of the things that I felt the most uncomfortable with was charging money, right? Charging people for the services that we provided. And also based on what you explained to me, I think that one thing that really stood out to me there was just you guys had this understanding that, hey, we need to provide a level of value, right? So that we can charge people what we are worth, right? But initially, when you start off going into this business space, you don't know what you should be charging people. At the same time, you're aware of how much work, right? How much effort and time goes into
Yep.
what you are doing. Which is why
Mm-hmm.
when you guys said don't work for free, and both of you were like, no, no working for free. Yeah,
Absolutely don't.
absolutely. But you know that, hey, I'm spending so much time working on this, and it takes so much effort. But I need to be able to charge you for it. But sometimes you want to give a price, and you don't want to, be over the board with it, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I also know that you know your price range also kind of draws out a picture of what your client base would be, right? So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, when our gym was priced super low, we had a lot of people that did not care about the equipment and things like that
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, yeah, whatever, $10 a month. But then as we
Mm-hmm.
elevated our prices, we saw that the quality of people that came into our business definitely changed with that, right?
Yep.
Because they really
Mm-hmm.
cared about it. So for you guys, how was that? How did you guys start determining how much you would charge? And how did you take on that challenge of telling people like, hey, this is what we're charging you if you cannot um if you don't want to pay us this amount? Because sometimes it's not even about affording it, right? Some people just want to be, you know, whatever they want to be. So how did you guys go about setting that price point and scaling from there?
Okay, so the way I look at it will be is like this. The more educated you are, the more value you put in your business.
Right.
You need to continuously level up and change your prices. That's me in general. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs should also use that in their businesses, because once you start educating yourself, going into master classes, putting more value into your business, or putting more, like changing your environment, making sure that you're touching, like you're making changes, and I'm talking about good changes.
Right.
You're doing certain things. For example, your office, you're making changes, like you're changing the couch, you're doing certain different things that are different to attract a certain type of clientele. Your pricing needs to go along with that. So as you're elevating yourself, your price has to continue to elevate as well. You cannot stay down here and continue to elevate yourself, because you'll be burnt out. The kind of clients that you attract will be the cheap one, like the cheap ones like that you said, where they don't appreciate the equipment. It's
The
the same thing
value.
with us.
Yeah,
The value,
absolutely.
exactly. They don't get it. They would not, you would, as a business owner, will continue to feel burnt out, because you will continue to work so hard, spinning your wheels, and then for clients that don't really appreciate it because they're not paying anything. And why waste your time? Because some people, they want to price so low so they can get a lot of clients. I would rather price high and get less clients, and so that I can focus on those clients and make sure those clients get the best of me. Once that happens, guess what? They will tell their friends who can be on the same level as they are. And then at that point, those ones that are paying $10, for example, for your business, guess
Yeah.
what? They start looking and reaching and say, oh, they're too expensive. And they will never come to you,
Absolutely.
because they don't even want to deal with it. So it's better that you always, raise your prices. I personally always say, as a business, I want to be able to raise my price every year, because where I was last year is not where I'm going to be. It's not where I'm going to be this year. And where I am this year is not where I'm going to be next year. So as I elevate my business, my personal life, my brand, the pricing has to elevate with it as well. And the clientele would definitely, you see your clientele start changing. I'm telling you, we see it night and day.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we sit back and we're like, oh my God, I cannot believe we dealt with that client that paid like $2. We dealt with all of that, right? And we're like,
sometimes the client actually signed a contract like last year, and then we look at the invoice, we're like,
what were we thinking, right?
like, this is so low. We would have never even done it for this price. Like, this client is so lucky.
Exactly.
Hey.
Like you want to make sure that, but again, it's not like you do not. I don't want people to feel like just raise your prices. No, you have to make sure that your business is getting elevated. You think about where you were last year is not the same. You're not where you are today, this year.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you're educating yourself, your brand is elevated constantly, your website is on, top notch, everything is, everything is to the T. You have to make sure that you're exactly what you're trying to charge. That's where you need to be, because people have to believe you, believe your brand, because they're buying from you. And if you're not elevated, there's no room for you to elevate your prices. Sorry.
Like, for example, your Instagram has to always be like, your pictures from last year has to be better than the pictures that you had
this year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And social media is very powerful for marketing. And I think
Oh
the
yeah.
better content you can have on there, the better chances you have for that exposure.
Absolutely.
Instagram has been so amazing to us. Like, a lot of clients we've gotten from there, they don't even know us, and they just say, "Oh, I just found your Instagram and I like your work."
Yep.
And from there, we just get the client.
I would say Instagram is our number two. Is the number two when it comes to leads for us.
Yep.
Number one is people that have referred us, referral. That's number one.
Yep.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth is number one.
I could see that. I absolutely agree with that, because it's the same for the gym as well. It's word of mouth, and I think word of mouth is one of those things that just keeps giving, right? It never stops.
Yep. Yeah. And the clients that book you, that you gave a wonderful experience to, they would always come back. So they would always come back as a client over and over again, and then they're bringing their friends who then become clients over and over again as well. Those are the best clients. That's why I always say, when you're giving your client an experience, give them an exceptional experience, because that could be a client that will be a forever client. Will you keep making like tons of income from them, right? Versus just a one-time thing. They felt that they got a ridiculous service and then they're out the door, when that client could have gotten like 10 different businesses from that just one client. So you have to be very careful and make sure that you give your very best, whether they're paying $10 or they're paying $1,000. Give the level of customer service has to be on 10.
Yep.
No matter what.
Absolutely. I like that. Provide value and create an experience for your clients.
Absolutely. Yep.
Love it.
You guys are so determined. But one of the main qualities that I love from you guys is that you guys are literally doing what you love doing. So it's like it's something that you're passionate about. And to say that you never walk a day in your life when you're doing something that you love doing. So I think you guys have found the road to success. You're just on it right now. Like you're just enjoying the ride, which is wonderful.
Absolutely.
That is so true, though. That is so true. Like, I work 24/7. It doesn't feel like it. Yep.
Absolutely.
No, it doesn't. And I'm so proud of you guys. You guys were also talking about the cost. I was thinking of Netflix, and Disney just announced that they're also increasing their prices. And the reason why these companies do that is that they've added value to their products, which you guys are doing not just on a yearly basis, but literally on a monthly and customer to customer, day-to-day basis. Because the twin perfection I knew when I was getting married is way advanced than the twin perfection that I see now. I was like, you guys are doing like big league things, man. Like, freaking White House is about to call you guys over and say, you know what, you guys are running the show. So that's so cool. I'm so proud of you guys. But I have to say something though. We have a lot of people that watch this show to learn and gain knowledge. And we have women that watch this show too. And being a woman in business, right? Especially being in Women's Month. This is Women's Month, right? That transitions from your wonderful 6-figure paying job. And I know, you have your mom in the industry of nursing, and, you're a little bit familiar with business, but that full transition for most people is very difficult. Tell us what just said, forget it. We're just going to do it. Like, explain that feeling, that jump. Because I know you guys had to jump, because your initial customer base were friends and family that paid you pennies. And now you have to go back to next level of maybe some friends that still won't pay you a lot, but you have to see the future. How did you take that risk and fill the gap?
So I like what you said, because yes, it is a risky. It's very risky, and I was scared because, again, I'm married. I have a child, I had a child, just one child at that point, and it was hard. So all my married women out there, I'm sure you understand, you have a regular 9 to 5 job that's bringing income. Whether you work or not, you're still going to get your money every 2 weeks. It's there. Yeah. And for you to just leave it abruptly and then focus on something that you focus on the unknown, you're unsure. It's one of the hardest decisions to make. However, you not leaving that job and making that leap, you would always have it in the back of your mind that what if? What if, what would have happened if I put my 100% into this thing? What would it have become? That what if would always stick in your mind. And that's why Tenny left her job way earlier, back in 2016, because it was more overwhelming from a decor standpoint. So she left. For me, I was able to do both because I'm more on the administrative side and I could do my regular job because I'm always in front of the computer anyways. So it's easier for me to be able to just slide my computer and just start doing two perfections.
Yeah. And also we couldn't pay. It was so hard for us because we couldn't pay each other at that point. So two perfections at that time was just growing. So we couldn't pay Candy and then pay me at the same time. And when they were paying me, it wasn't even paying me much. It was compared to my nursing job.
Yeah,
it was like nothing. So
like you have to go back salary, right?
Not getting but that's a sacrifice you have to make. But I loved what I was doing. I enjoyed it, and I worked within my own time. It was my own time, And it also makes you hungry to go harder.
At the same token, because you left that 6-figure job, that's a drive in itself. Because you think, trust me, I always say, oh my God, I left my job for this. No. I'm putting 1,000% into this thing and make sure it works out. So that it in itself is a drive that will get you to where you need to be within your business. However, if you do not leave that job, you will never have that time. I literally maxed out the timing in my day for me to be able to even get two perfections done and also do my regular job. It got to a point where my husband didn't see me for 2 full weeks and we lived in the same house.
And
by the time he got up to go to work, I was still sleeping. When I get up, I go to work from 9 to 6 p.m., 7 p.m., I'm in the office and I'm doing appointments. I'm taking on my appointments up until 1 a.m. And then I go home, go to sleep, wake up, he's gone to work. That was at that point when I knew that, okay, there really isn't enough hours in the day for me to be able to do both. And something has to give. And I'll be damned if I decide that, let me go work for somebody else to grow somebody else's business instead of giving mine a shot and giving mine all that it needs. I could always go back, and you guys could always go back to your job. You could always, even till tomorrow, they're begging me to come back to my job. I could always go back whenever I feel like it, whenever I'm ready. If you're a good worker, I'm not talking about someone that's lazy, just dragging their feet to the 9 to 5. If you bring value to whoever you work for, you would definitely bring value in. I don't see how you won't bring value to your own business and grow your own business.
It's just that you have to be more hungry.
You just have to be hungry for it. You have to be able to know that, okay, you know what? I'm telling you, it's that mindset. Tenny said it's Sparta.
It's
like your mind has to be laser focused on what you want to accomplish. Like you have to be intentional on a daily base, on a weekly base, monthly base, and yearly base. Razor focused and intentional. Your intentions will yield action plans that you need to execute on a daily basis, and that will get you to where you need to be. It will get you that success. You cannot sleep on it. If you have something, or God has rest something on your mind, and you know that this thing can blossom, if you're just able to have that time, that 8-hour block you want to put into your own business, do it.